So the president recently unveiled a package of proposals to try to help make college more affordable. I want to give you a quick overview of just a few of the pieces that I think have the most potential to make a difference for students. The first proposal is the most controversial, but I think the most interesting. It involves tying a small portion of federal student aid to college behavior and outcomes. So last year, the federal government gave out $167 billion in loans and grants to students to help them go to college. But they asked for virtually nothing in return from the institutions that take the students and their money. The president's proposing to change that just a little bit. So currently, the majority of financial aid goes directly to students who can then use the money at institutions that they choose. But there's a small portion, currently $2.7 billion out of the $167 billion, which is called campus-based aid, that goes directly to institutions who then distribute the money to students as they need it. The president wants to do two things with this pot of money. First, he wants to increase it to $10 billion from the $2.7, and then he wants to change the way it's allocated by rewarding institutions that do three things. One, that set responsible tuition policy. Two, provide good value. And three, serve low-income students well. So this is the first and I think most exciting part of this proposal. The second piece I want to talk about is geared towards states. Okay, now why is the federal government getting involved with states? Well, because 80% of students in this country, undergraduates in this country, are attending public universities, but states are systematically disinvesting in higher education. Last year, we saw the biggest decrease in state support for higher education in the past half century. 41 states decreased their funding for higher education, and it ranged from a 1% decrease to a 41% decrease. So states are basically disinvesting, and they're passing that bill on to students and to the federal government. So what the president is proposing is a $1 billion in the first year competitive pot of money called Race to the Top for College Affordability. This would help reward states that implement systemic reforms that reduce costs and improve student outcomes. And it would also reward those states that maintain an adequate level of support for higher education. So these are just two of the pieces. There's a lot in the president's proposal, and my colleagues Steve Bird and Rachel Fishman will be talking about more. Steve Bird will give some more background on the history of campus-based aid, the challenges, why it desperately needs reform, and some of the political obstacles to getting there. And Rachel Fishman is going to talk about the president's proposal to empower students and families with better, clear, and comparable information about colleges. So stay tuned, and we'll try to keep you informed.